What if I told you your cat has tried to apologize to you more times than you can count? And you may have misunderstood almost every single one, not because you don't care, not because they don't care, but because you're speaking human and they're speaking something much quieter. Before we go any further, if you love understanding the hidden psychology behind your cat's behavior, take a second right now and subscribe. Most owners never learn this side of their cat, and once you do, your relationship will never feel the same again. Now, let me ask you something honest. Have you ever been frustrated with your cat and then noticed they started acting different? Maybe they looked at you in a strange way. Maybe they followed you silently. Maybe they came closer than usual or softer than usual, and maybe you brushed it off. Here's the truth. Cats absolutely try to repair emotional tension. They just don't do it in ways that look dramatic. And the problem isn't that they don't apologize. The problem is we don't recognize their language. Let's slow this down. Picture a moment. Your cat knocks something off the counter. You raise your voice. Maybe not even loud, just sharper than usual. To you, it's a small reaction. To your cat, the emotional temperature of the room just changed. Cats are extremely sensitive to shifts in tone, posture, breathing, even scent. They don't just hear your words, they read your nervous system. The second tension enters the air, their body reacts. Heart rate up, muscles tighten, alert mode activated. In the wild, that response keeps them alive. So what happens next is critical. Most animals would retreat immediately, and sometimes your cat does. But other times, they stay. And that choice is not random. Have you ever locked eyes with your cat after a tense moment and then watched them slowly close their eyes? That slow blink is not laziness. It's not boredom, it's vulnerability. In the animal world, eye contact can signal threat. Predators stare before they attack. When your cat chooses to close their eyes while looking at you, they are temporarily giving up visual control. That's trust. But here's what most people miss. It often happens right after tension. That timing matters. It's not just, I trust you. It's, I don't want this distance. And when you blink back slowly, something subtle happens. Their body relaxes. Their breathing softens. You just told their nervous system, we're safe. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine your cat offers that slow blink after conflict and you ignore it, or stay stiff, or keep your voice sharp. They don't escalate, they simply withdraw. Over time, they may stop offering that gesture entirely. And when that happens, many owners say, my cat became distant. But the distance didn't start randomly. It started with missed repair attempts. Let's go deeper. Have you ever been annoyed and suddenly your cat walks up and presses their forehead against your leg or hand? That gentle head press feels sweet, but it's more than affection. Cats have scent glands around their cheeks and forehead. When they rub against you, they are marking you with their scent. In peaceful moments, that's bonding. But after tension, it becomes something else. When you get stressed, your body chemistry shifts. Cortisol changes your scent slightly. Your cat can smell that shift instantly. To them, you feel different, less predictable, less emotionally aligned. So what do? They remark you. They press their scent back onto you. It's their way of restoring familiarity, of saying, we still us. Now pause for a second. Think about that level of emotional awareness. They don't use words. They use biology. And here's where it gets fascinating. If you respond calmly in that moment, you reinforce security. If you push them away, you reinforce uncertainty. That tiny interaction can shape how safe your cat feels coming back to you in the future. But wait, there's another behavior that most people completely misunderstand. Let me ask you something. After you've been frustrated with your cat, have you ever found one of their favorite toys near you? On the couch, by your feet, on your bed. At first, it looks like an invitation to play. But what if it's something deeper? Cats don't randomly give away prized objects. When they bring something valuable to you during emotional tension, it can act as a reconciliation offering. In many animal species, after conflict, individuals offer something of value to restore connection. It's not about the object, it's about the gesture. Imagine being small, wordless, limited in communication, and the only way you know how to bridge distance is to bring what comforts you most. That toy isn't plastic, it's emotional currency, and when you ignore it or toss it aside angrily, you may unknowingly reject the offering. I know that sounds dramatic, but to a creature that relies entirely on nonverbal cues, these moments matter. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood signals of all. The belly expose. You scold your cat. They flop over. Belly up. And what do most people do? They reach down and then get scratched. And then they say, "See, my cat is manipulative." But that's not what happened. The belly is the most vulnerable part of a cat's body. Vital organs are protected there. In the wild, exposing the belly can be a surrender gesture. It can be a de escalation move. It can mean I'm not a threat, but it does not automatically mean touch me. When you immediately reach for that vulnerable area, you override the gesture. The apology becomes a boundary violation. Instead of grabbing, try this. Stay still. Soften your voice. Blink slowly. Let the vulnerability exist. You'll often see your cat relax even more because you respected the signal instead of misreading it. Now, here's the behavior that looks almost human, and it's the one people miss the most. After tension, your cat follows you, not loudly, not dramatically. They just appear. Kitchen to bedroom, bedroom to hallway. They sit a few feet away. Quiet, observing. Why does this matter? Because cats are independent by nature. When they want space, they disappear effortlessly. So when they choose proximity during emotional discomfort, it's intentional. In psychology, this is called proximity maintenance. Humans do it too. After a disagreement, sometimes we don't have the right words, so we just stay nearby. We make coffee in the same room. We sit on the same couch. We reduce distance. Your cat is doing the same thing. They're saying, I don't want this disconnection, but they're doing it in silence. And here's the surprising insight. Cats don't apologize from guilt. They apologize from attachment. They don't sit there thinking, I was morally wrong. They feel tension in the bond, and they want it restored. That's huge, because it means their repair attempts are not about rules. They're about relationship. Now let's step into something even deeper. Have you ever noticed your cat grooming you after tension? Licking your hand, your arm, maybe even your face. Grooming in cat communities is selective. They don't groom just anyone. And grooming has a physiological effect. It lowers stress levels. So when your cat licks you after conflict, they're not just soothing you, they're soothing themselves. They're regulating their nervous system through connection. Think about how powerful that is. Repair calms them down. Connection stabilizes them. You are not just their provider. You are their emotional anchor. But here's where many relationships quietly weaken. When repair attempts are consistently misunderstood, cats adapt. They may become more distant, less expressive, more self-reliant. And owners often say, my cat just isn't affectionate. But sometimes the affection was there. It just wasn't recognized. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever stayed mad longer than your cat did? Be honest. Your cat might attempt repair within minutes. But humans hold tension longer. We replay, we justify, we stay stiff. And during that time, your cat is watching, reading, waiting. They don't need a lecture. They need emotional safety. And here's something most people never consider. Every time you respond calmly to a repair gesture, you're teaching your cat that relationships survive conflict, that mistakes don't end connection, that emotional storms pass. That lesson shapes their long-term confidence. It shapes how quickly they approach you in the future. It shapes how secure they feel in your presence. You are literally building emotional architecture in their brain. Now let me ask you something. Has your cat ever done something frustrating and then immediately acted softer than usual? Zeller movements, gentler voice, lower posture. That softness is not coincidence. It's modulation. They are adjusting their behavior to match your emotional state. And when you respond warmly, that modulation becomes trust. But when you respond coldly, it becomes caution. Over time, caution turns into emotional distance. And distance feels like independence. But sometimes it's just protection. Now, imagine something powerful. Imagine the next time your cat knocks something over. Instead of reacting sharply, you pause. You breathe. You lower your tone. You blink slowly. You let the repair attempt happen. You watch. You notice. And in that noticing, your relationship deepens. Because now you're not just reacting. You're communicating in their language, in quiet gestures, in body shifts, in presence. And here's the thing. Cats don't need grand forgiveness speeches, they need subtle signals. Calm breathing, soft eye contact, relaxed posture. These small adjustments tell them everything. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be aware. Because the truth is, your cat has likely been apologizing all along. In blinks, in scent marks, in toys, in silence, in presence, in vulnerability. The question isn't whether they care, the question is whether we see it. So next time tension enters the room, don't just look at what your cat did wrong. Look at what they do next. That's where the real message lives. And I want to leave you with this. If your cat could speak one sentence after a mistake, it probably wouldn't be, I'm sorry. It would be, are we okay? And your response, even without words, answers that question every single time. So tell me, have you noticed any of these signals before? The slow blink, the head press, the silent shadow following you? Drop your experience in the comments. I read them all, and I love hearing your stories. And if this opened your eyes to a side of your cat you hadn't considered before, make sure you subscribe and stay with me, because there's an entire hidden emotional language happening in your home. And now, you're starting to understand it.